In these short lectures we provide a brief insight into the role and rules applicable to those who represent players or clubs during the player transfer. The lectures are designed for parents of young players who want to learn more about the work of agents, players who are searching for a contract and may consider representing themselves, anybody else who is interested and would like to learn more about the role of an agent and some of the important rules that apply to agents. This lecture is comprised of 3 short lessons. Lesson 1, the role of football agents. Lesson 2, contraction negotiation. Lesson 3, the duty owed by football intermediaries. Lesson 1, the role of football agents. Football agents are more formally known as football intermediaries. The main role of the football intermediary is to represent a player or club during the transfer process, by looking after a player or club's interests, or to broker a deal for a buying or selling club. Example 1. An example of the first situation is where player A wants to move to a new football club, or club A wants to sign a new player from a different club. In either of these scenarios, the player or club can appoint a football intermediary, or soccer agent, to represent them during the transfer process. This process shall involve discussions and negotiations between the player and club until the player has agreed terms and signed a contract with a new club, or the deal falls through for one reason or another. Example 2. Another example of an intermediary's role is a situation where a club wants to sign a player to fill a vacant position in the team, or just add strength to the squad. In this type of situation, the buying and selling club can appoint an intermediary to represent them throughout the transfer process, and to even find a new player that possesses suitable skills and experience to fill the vacant position. Once again, this shall involve the parties discussing important issues during negotiations. Lesson 2. Contraction negotiations. During contract negotiations, the intermediary shall be involved in discussing the terms of the transfer, which can include the transfer fee, and the player's salary, which can also include performance-related bonuses, and other issues. Once the negotiations have concluded, the relevant documentation shall be lodged with the National Football Association of the club that the player is joining. These documents include the player's new contract, signed intermediary declaration, player's passport, and other documents. Football agents are different from lawyers insofar as they do not prepare or draft their own contracts, but merely advise and represent clients during transfer and contract negotiations. Many of the contracts used by football associations and league clubs are standard contracts that have been prepared in advance. Lesson 3. The duty owed by football intermediaries. The role of football intermediary is in many ways similar to that of the lawyer's role. For instance, an intermediary owes a fiduciary duty to a client. This means that an intermediary must always act in a client's best interests. Learning about the relevant laws, rules and regulations is therefore something an intermediary is expected to do to be able to properly represent a client's best interests. In addition to these duties, an intermediary may also be responsible for handling personal aspects of a player's life, such as career management, financial planning, securing sponsorship, endorsement, and marketing opportunities, dealing with public relations issues, disciplinary issues, and taking care of other personal affairs, such as buying or leasing houses and cars, taking care of a player's investment portfolio, and handling banking issues for a player. In general, the role of a football intermediary in modern times has evolved into one where the intermediary is expected to provide a full service to clients. This can involve taking care of every aspect of a player's life and career, and possibly even those of the player's family members. In the next lecture, we shall discuss the rules and procedures that apply during the international transfer of a player from one club to another.